Welcome back to the 40-Day Joy Challenge, where our goal is helping you live life as it was meant to be. It's day 27, and the thought of the day is this: I am a sponge. I am a sponge. Like a human sponge, we soak up our environment. We breathe, we live, we think, we walk, we talk, we work, we pray, we play, and as we do, we absorb the influences of our environment along the way. The soundest way to improve the quality of your life and to upgrade your joy is to first improve the quality of your thinking. You know this. And the best way to improve the quality of your thinking is to keep close watch over your heart. When you guard your heart, you are preserving your joy. When you guard your heart, you are calculating the potential cost of what enters your mind, either to visit temporarily or to reside permanently. We've said this in many different ways throughout this challenge. The highest form of individual responsibility is responsibility for your thought life. In other words, no one else can think for you or improve for you or experience joy on your behalf. Once this really sinks in, it's kind of fun and scary at the same time. But this is the point where your personal growth and fulfillment can take off. When you guard your heart, you are protecting your mental software from negative scripts, bad code, and harmful viruses. To guard your heart is to shield your mind from the environmental hazards that can steer your thinking away from what is true, pure, lovely, and excellent. And this is a big job. So let's go to the rest of the lesson and learn more about how to guard your heart with all diligence.
We protect our president. We protect our nation and communities. We protect our families. We protect our businesses. We protect our homes. We protect our cars. But do we do enough to protect our minds? It is critical that we must. There's an unbreakable link between our mind and our heart. What we let into our heart sways our beliefs, feelings, values, expectations, and actions. Nothing comes out of our hearts except that which we put there first. In Proverbs 4:23, the wisest man who ever lived put it like this: above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. To a greater degree than is probably comfortable for us to acknowledge, we are where we are at this point in our lives because of the dominating thoughts we have allowed to occupy our minds and hearts. Your emotional and physical health, your marriage and family life, your career and personal economy, as well as your connection with God have been and continue to be heavily influenced by the quality of your mental diet. The soundest way to improve the quality of your life is to first improve the quality of your thinking. And the best way to improve the quality of your thinking is to keep vigilant watch over what you let enter your heart and mind. After all, as Jesus said in Luke 6:45, a good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart, and an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Many people downplay the power of the human mind because it is easier to attribute their chronic dissatisfaction to something other than themselves than it is to own their life situations entirely. Claiming responsibility for the conditions of your life is difficult, sometimes dreadfully difficult. However, doing so marks the beginning of an upward spiral toward greater joy, greater satisfaction, and greater freedom from negative emotions. The highest form of individual responsibility is responsibility for your thought life. All mental work is delayed, and all upward progress is deferred until this is acknowledged. I have observed that even well-meaning Christian men and women pay very little attention to their frequent exposures. They listen to whatever happens to be playing on the radio. They watch the trendy television programs everyone else is watching. They read the popular books everyone else is reading. Like almost everyone else, they ingest whatever news headlines pop in front of their eyes. They participate agreeably in the random conversations of the day, all with very little intention or premeditation. Unsurprisingly, like most everyone else, they experience a palpable shortfall of joy in their relationships and in their lives as a whole. It doesn't have to be this way. Far too many followers of Christ follow the culture instead of wisely guarding their hearts and feeding their minds. They take a very casual and impulsive approach to what they read, watch, and listen to on an ongoing basis. Their mental diet differs little, if at all, from their secular counterparts. And since they, like all of us, soak up their surroundings, they ever so gradually absorb the culture's worldview and corresponding value system. Your mental diet impacts both your character and your potential for joy. Directly or indirectly, Every decision you make is influenced by the thoughts, images, and suggestions that are swirling all around you. To maximize your joy and live an exceptional life, you must become picky about your daily inputs. You cannot grant yourself an all-access pass to popular culture and still maintain joy at the highest levels. While there's no way to avoid every cultural weed, you can minimize the damage by being highly selective in what you choose to expose yourself to on a regular basis. Neglecting to account for the spiritual and emotional cost of the junk you're consuming can severely undermine your faith and clog your potential for joy and fulfillment. Check today's lesson page for questions to help you evaluate the quality of your mental diet. Excellence begets excellence. Put virtue in, and virtue comes out. There's no way to avoid it. Put weeds in, and weeds come out. There's no way to avoid this either. It is the law of sowing and reaping, and it applies to joy as much as anything else.
As you progress through the 40-day challenge, your thinking is changing for the better. One day at a time, you are redirecting your attention to the blessings, possibilities, and goodness that surrounds you. And by focusing on the good stuff, you notice more good stuff. And this is really good for joy. Today, we've been emphasizing both the danger and the opportunity our physical environment provides us in the pursuit of joy. So in light of this, I want you to identify one step you could take to improve your surroundings. Decide what this is and email yourself and your accountability partner from the lesson page. And when we pick back up tomorrow, we'll be looking at the challenge of impulsivity. Until then, know that your joy does bless others.